Okay, I believe we're feeding out to the people. Man, second day in a row. Second day in a row. Hank Strange messing it up. Um, let's see. Okay.
Well, we don't have
Um,
8-bit Walter.
oh, no, the camera's looking good. Okay, so listen, let's do this. Let's try to keep some sense of normalcy here. You guys are listening to the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. Yes, that's right, the number one podcast in the world and the Americas and the universe when it comes to the Second Amendment and freedom. Here's what I'm going to do. My usual stuff I'm going to put on the side because we're running a little late. I'll explain it to you guys all here in a second. Please go to hankstrange.com, sign up for the email list. Let me run in the open. Let's see. Let's run in the open right now.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange situation.
Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. Oh, I'm supposed to be ringing the bell. There we go. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. The bell is ringing right there. We are live. We are live. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on. We're going to start off with jazz hands. Come on, everyone has to do jazz hands. There you go. We've all been here before. Big shout out to Walther Arms for sponsoring the podcast. We really do appreciate those guys for sponsoring us here. This is episode 787 that you guys are listening and watching. Our guest is supposed to be we're supposed to have the Hilljack Quickie Loaders guys on the show, but I'm not. There's some kind of communication error going on, so I don't know if we're going to get those guys. So if you see it in the title, don't worry about it. But we do have FlyingrRich joining us. There he goes, FlyingrRich.
Hey.
What's up, Rich? What's going on?
Oh, just fixing the air conditioner in the house here just before the show, so everything's good.
Yeah, so you're in New York?
New York still?
New York? You're still in New York? All right.
And very likely for the holiday weekend.
Right, okay. Also joining us, Vinh. Vinh is back.
Hey guys.
What's up, Vinh? Where you at, man?
Oh, I'm in Dallas Fort Worth actually. I'm out for work.
All right. Oh, okay. He's working so we got exotic locations, and of course I'm in the van. It's the van.
Van in the hacienda.
Yeah,
I see your front porch.
Yeah, it's not that exotic. As I said, we are, man. I decided to actually last night with all the problems that we had, right, with Walter's camera looked terrible, all that kind of stuff. I said, this might be me. Let me do there was a operating system update. I'm using a Mac. I set it, didn't work. Walked away from it. Should have never done that. So it didn't work. So today when I was getting set up, I was like, oh, this will just take a couple minutes. I started early, still late. Still late. So anyway, we're here. You guys are here. We are going to talk about some, I don't know, I'm guessing we're going to talk about 3D printing since we got Rich and Vinh here. Right? Any projects? Anyone? Vinh, you got any new projects popping off you can talk about?
I have some projects that are outside the norm of 3D printing. We're doing the infrastructure for 3D printing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're setting up a continuous integration, continuous delivery pipeline, and as well as hosting infrastructure too for our 3D printed movement. In the way to be a little more resilient and redundant to all the censorship and deplatforming efforts that we've faced so far.
Okay.
So a lot of good stuff's in the works for community.
So what exactly does that entail?
Cool.
I don't know if you understand that. Rich. I just heard we're setting up.
Me as a software development guy
okay.
with 15 years experience, yes, I understand what he's talking about.
Okay.
But I was going to ask what kind of tools he's using for CI, if he's using something like Jenkins or what's going on.
Okay, this is where the rest of us.
Maybe we should really take a step back and explain what continuous integration is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's. I guess we'll dial it back for some of the folks in the audience. Basically, what
this
is
yeah.
Essentially when you publish a file, right? We're not working with traditional code per se. We're still working with code. It's G code, but it's nothing that executes on a computer. The back end, what we're trying to spin up is a framework. So we're using GitLab. We have GitLab runners, and one of the workflows you could execute would be to generate a README document. You write your documentation in a standard text format, and one of the workflows could execute a little prettying up script to make it, publishable, create a concise format, concise place to, um, digest and such. And one of the things I'm looking forward to as well is basically automating our release workflow, because right now it's very manual. The developer makes a room for a beta, they zip up the file, and they send it out to one of our staff members to upload it. And I'm looking for more of a automated workflow, a tool set to streamline and actually keep tracks on what we publish, where the project is in the state that it's being worked on, and such. And so it's unique in that we're bringing all of this typically enterprise level software and management into an open source decentralized platform. So it's a unique challenge, but I think the benefits would help the community out in creating a formal, concise place to release, even change management too for their models and such.
So all of this stuff is already on the blockchain, or we're going to the blockchain, or am I completely lost?
This isn't blockchain. This is more infrastructure work.
Infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure.
IP
Before
services.
Okay, before we
So-
interface with it, right?
In the software world, what would happen is, say there's one file and maybe there's 10 functions in it, and I'm working on the first function and Vin's working on the second function, and then we check them back in. The software would actually merge, the continuous integration software would merge the two, say, well, Rich only edited this and Vin edited this, it's not conflicting, let's put it together.
Okay.
But then maybe say there was a conflict, it'll ask me to resolve it. But further on is part of the continuous integration is what happens next. All right, we got our code merged, and whether it's just a README file, say Vin wrote, like, hey, how to set up the printer, and I wrote the materials part. It's like, all right, this could be printed with PETG or PLA, and Vin's writing the introduction, like, hey, print this with supports, or don't use supports, or print the object this way up, and it'll handle the merge. But then it's like, how does it get out to the public where they can see it on a website?
Okay. All right. So that makes sense. So this is all behind the scenes stuff that we don't see, but it makes it easier for everyone to work together, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's the repetitive drudge work that, hey, you want to be operating the printer, you want to be designing the part, you want to be testing the thing. You don't want to handle uploading it and doing the menial type things that can be scripted.
Okay. All right. So making it easier for everyone behind the scenes.
Right.
Are we in the ballpark there?
Yeah, well, part of the picture too is also some of it's also user facing. We're spinning up a new identity solution. We're spinning up we're migrating our chat to a distributed platform as well. So we ever get deplatformed off of a host, there's servers laying around ready to take over.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different things happening here at the same time, because obviously the powers that be are trying to shut down 3D file distribution, at least when it comes to gun stuff. I don't know what's happening with the other things, because the other 3D printing world's not facing this, right?
No,
Well,
this is a uniquely. I think it's a uniquely 3D printed file, open source development problem.
Okay.
Other people print adult toys, and they try to share that kind of stuff out, so a lot of places try to keep that out. So nothing illegal, but just something maybe not too tasteful.
Yeah, the big brother syndrome. I'm pretty sure that that it's not just gun stuff, but that's probably the big focus of those guys out there, right? The big boogeyman is the gun world, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So now, so the stuff to deal with trying to avoid being shut down, because I know like Control Pew, he's constantly getting shut down. He's got a whole bunch of alternate things. That stuff's still kind of in the works, right? We haven't figured out that side yet. I know you're talking about the back end of getting these files sorted out.
Yeah, traditional social media like Control Pew is getting shut down out of Instagram all the time, like a couple times a month, it seems like.
Yeah, and other people, Vin. I don't know. I mean, bring us up to speed, because you're probably following everyone else out there. I follow most closely Control Pew, and then obviously now I've met you, but and then we got rich, but you know.
But,
Traditional, social media, we're just gonna get, and deplatform. I don't think you'll see, deterrent suspense appearing on, CNN or even getting mentioned for fear that people might find it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the whole resiliency and redundancy is a cat and mouse game against the powers that be and against our own strengths.
Mm-hmm.
We're already stuck at a severe disadvantage in that this is our part-time gig,
Mm-hmm.
and the powers that be have a unlimited money printer to continue doing this forever and ever.
Right.
So
Right.
it's it's a cat and mouse game, but the needful has to be done for my IT folks out there. Doing the needful.
Absolutely. You guys
that's like an Indian term. It's like I always hear we need to do the needful from like Indian consultants and kind of thing.
Okay.
Is that where you're picking that up from?
Do you want to explain that?
The kindly do the needful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So typically in emails from overseas tech support, a lot of times people have the understanding of English over there is a little bit verbose, and so you would hear odd things like, "Could you kindly do the needful?" Which means, "Hey, can you take care of this for me?" But asked in a really almost condescending way.
That's gonna become a horror movie. So I'll be shocked if that was not already a horror movie.
Thanks, half Indian.
Yeah, huh?
That's our reality.
Yeah, I know, but there's so many things like this. You guys don't know. In my brain, like next time I see Lola, I'm gonna be like, "Can you kindly do the needful?"
Hank, you're half Indian. Does that mean you tech support yourself?
No, I'm terrible. That's not the half of me that's Indian. You are my tech support, Rich. What are you talking about?
I thought Babyface P was your tech support.
No. No. Well, okay, maybe we use Patrick as like tech support maybe when it comes to guns and a couple of things, okay? Listen, if I have issues or even Walter, we have issues and we try to go to Patrick, he just does like the typical millennial thing like, "Oh, you guys don't know about this, huh?" Yeah.
Does he really?
Oh, okay. You obviously don't know Patrick that well. Yeah, so
I've never gone to him for tech support.
Patrick's not a tech support, so to speak. If he feels sorry for us, sometimes he helps us out, but typically he just laughs at us for being old idiots or something like that.
Dang.
Yeah, that's.
And the thing that terrifies me is me and Al Gore invented the internet together.
Oh right.
And
sure.
I'm a little worried. What's it going to be like when I'm old? I gotta like ask my daughter who's 19. It's like, can you show me how to do this? What is this IPv8? How does IPv8 work? What's the net mask for that?
Yeah. I know. The young people will be like, "Oh, so you didn't put the chip in your brain, huh? This is what happens.
Right.
You don't put the chip in your brain. This is what happens to you."
I gotta get an update. Windows 21.
Yeah.
Windows 21. I think it'll just be Windows at that point. We're already going towards something as a service in a cyber dystopia where,
it's just gonna be soul. Your soul. We own your soul.
I'll be Ubuntu all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be. Oh man, I don't know, Vin. What world? I think how old are you, Vin? We covered this, but I'm guessing you're like 20. I'm gonna say 22, 23. Well,
a little older. I'm 25.
25. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Boom. So this is the interesting thing that this leads me to. Kind of, we're talking about the 3D printing thing here. Did you guys see this Truth About Guns article? I'm going to throw it up here. It says, internal ATF document, Americans who build their own guns are terrorists, criminals, and violent extremists. Did you guys see this on Truth About Guns?
No, I did not see that. But, look, I've said this a number of times. I said it on the form I filled out and sent into the ATF. Yeah, I build my own guns, whether it's 3D printing them or, with a ghost gunner or whatever it is, because now I know how to repair them myself. It's like I was at a range day. I was in Texas at a range day, and my AR-9 jammed. And I'm like, what the hell? The trigger, just solid jam. I went back to the hotel room. I pushed out the hammer pin, the trigger pin, and a stupid primer got under the trigger. And I was able to fix it. I could have fixed it on site, but I put that down, grabbed another gun, and shot with that. Because you know how to build things, because I didn't go to SDI, like Shooting Gallery New England.
Right.
Because I can build something, I know how it works, and I know how to fix it.
Shooting Gallery New England knows how to chop off fingers. That's
well, no, he put a drill bit in his hand.
Oh, drill holes in his hand. He knows how to do that. He knows how to do that.
Yeah, he was pinning and welding, I forget what, but the carbide bit broke off in his hand. Yeah. And he left it there. I would have got it out.
Yeah, so
I offered several times. Okay,
there's a whole quote here in this article. You guys have to read through it. I'm trying to just covering the gist of it. So the JCAT is a collaboration by the NCTC, DHS, and FBI to improve information sharing amongst federal, state, local, tribal, territorial governments, and private sector partners in the interest of enhancing public safety. The document states this product is not in response to a specific threat against the United States. It provides general awareness of considerations and additional resources related to terrorist tactics, techniques, and procedures, whether domestic or overseas. So there's a whole thing here that you would have to read through, but to go on in the article, it says, to be clear, the ATF and JCAT consider home-built firearms terrorist tactics, techniques, and procedures, even though Americans have been making guns legally in their homes since before there was even a United States of America. And this document was not supposed to be leaked. It's leaked. It's probably going to take time for folks to go through it. What do you guys think?
I think that's very dangerous language. Look, I'm a CCW. I have my carry permit. You're an FFL and SOT. I mean, if we all make guns in our own home, all of a sudden we're terrorists. That's kind of dangerous language.
Yeah, go ahead, Vin.
I think this is a terrible slippery slope. First off, does this look like the face of a terrorist?
No.
I think this language, Rich has a point. This language is used to, weaponize, demonize their own guns, and what it really does is it paints a target on every single American citizen, so that the powers that be can just target us and attack us indiscriminately and say, oh, he's making guns.
Yeah, just solely because you do that. I mean, it becomes a terrorist tactic for you to be doing it. And of course they're setting up something to go after this, right? To change everything around, where we feel like, hey, we've been able to make guns for... I don't know how you can even put it in a law that you can't make weapons. I'm not really sure how the hell you do that.
Well, in England, are you not allowed to sharpen a knife?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I take a pen and I poke someone, does that become a weapon?
Everything.
These are weapons.
John Wick. Everything is a weapon to John Wick, man. Pencils, teacups. Whatever it is, not just double taps. But yeah, I think this is the setup, right? To make to turn the folks like us into criminals. And when you look at the way that the world is unfolding right now, everything else is okay. Everything else is okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't think about that.
Except the gun guys. Why do they want to be gun guys?
Mostly peaceful protests with, urine being thrown at the cops and Molotov cocktails. That's okay.
Yeah.
CNN will stand in front of the burning building and say, it's mostly peaceful. But meanwhile, everyone on the show tonight is a terrorist.
Yeah. Finesse, go ahead, Vin.
No, that's just bewildering for me here. People are saying, they're comparing certain events, say, oh, it was a terrorist attack, or it was a insurrection stuff. One of the mostly peaceful protests were, sure, a cop's head got smashed in, but that, I'm sure magnitudes worse have happened during the course of the summer.
Yeah.
You want to single on anything, to a certain point of the political spectrum and just demonize it.
Yeah.
And I think this is part of that, I think this movement to label, because we all know gun owners have been labeled as, oh, you don't need those, you're not responsible or whatever for a long time. And this is just they realize that the broad attack of labeling all gun owners as terrorists isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're narrowing it down. They're basically gonna, scalpel in a focus, and then eventually, once they get that wedge in, spread that focus out. It goes from people who make guns to people who own ARs. It goes to people who own hunting rifles, aka sniper rifles,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes to people who own pistols, etc. So
Yeah. Why do you want anything? Why do you want to do anything? Everyone is an enemy of the state because they want to, because they want to own guns. Why do you want to train? Why do you want to protect yourself? What's that all about? You don't need to be protected from anything. Everything.
Where are you going to protect yourself from?
Yeah.
Oh, the enemy has F-15s and nukes. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
At the same point, are these things useless or not?
Yeah.
Are they if it's a toy, then why regulate?
Yeah, Vin,
Right.
I hope someone is working on the F-15 3D print right now. I don't care if it takes me 10 years to 3D print that
So wait.
F-15. I will do it.
Got a 3D print an F-15 that has a pick rail adapter so I can put it on the bottom of my AR-15.
No, I want a real F-15, okay?
Well, here's
Don't
the
we
thing
all?
with those planes. To my understanding, the late 18th century, private companies and private people had warships and such.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
But today
The
with
privateers.
Mm-hmm.
right today with things like the F-15, F-16, fighter jets, cargo planes, they just have such an exorbitant price tag that no one but someone with a money printer can own those things.
Right.
Even if they were given to you, your costs
Oh, yeah,
to
the
operate
fuel and the
are
maintenance.
exorbitant.
Yeah. Yeah. And anything that comes close to us having any kind of air power, if you notice it, think about it for a second, how long ago were we supposed to have flying cars and things like that, right? I mean, even to be practical. I'm not saying, the impractical cars are just going to float around.
Didn't
and do
Back to the
vertical
Future have it in 1999?
Sure, but what I'm saying, to be practical, helicopters, for example, were supposed to, those exist, and they should have gotten by this time a lot cheaper than we've talked about this before. I think right now you could probably get a helicopter for around $40,000, right?
Ooh,
That's
nothing you'd want to fly. That's like a single-seat Mosquito you might be able to
like
get.
a single person
and piston
thing.
engine.
Yeah, not necessarily so bad.
And maybe used.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of, there's a lot of rules and regulations when it comes to these things. Look, even drones.
Oh.
People started getting into drones and they were like, oh, no, we're going to start regulating this.
Just build your own drone.
Yeah, and everyone went for that. Oh, wait, looks like we're getting Vin coming in. Are you coming in on a separate line, Vin?
Yeah, my
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, hold on. I gotta add him on this. Looks like something happened with his. Hey, Vin, we got you. Oh, don't hear the audio.
Yeah, my computer died. The screen just went out.
Oh, that's all right, man. This is you know what? The NSA might be watching us. Someone earlier on was talking about, was it Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, what's the news on that? I haven't had a chance to really dig into that. What's going on with Tucker?
I only heard from Dan Bongino. I listen to Dan Bongino's podcast every day. And Tucker got a call, and he thought the guy was tinfoil hat.
Mm-hmm.
He said the NSA is watching what you're doing. They're monitoring your communications.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, well, thanks. He says, no, I have, your text messages. I can read them to you. And he read off like a text message about a story that he's developing that nobody knows about.
Oh, wow.
So Tucker Carlson's like, holy cow, this is real.
Yeah. And so who was this guy?
I don't know. I didn't pay. I may be paraphrasing a little much. I didn't pay that close attention other than NSA is watching Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, or they might be playing some mind games with him to have someone call him and say, yeah, here's your text messages. We're watching you. Mm-hmm. Just take it easy there, kiddo.
And so my rule, because I did invent the internet with Al Gore, is that I don't say anything online that I don't expect to be read in public in front of everyone. Mm-hmm. That's rule number one. And I forgot rule number two because I'm old.
Yeah, rule number 2, have a buddy who erases all your porn history should
Hillary
you
Clinton
die.
deleting your emails. My favorite was the Hillary Clinton passing notes to Fauci. It's like, delete your email. Delete your email.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, Vin? Did you hear what Rich was saying there about Tucker Carlson?
Yeah, that just goes to show, don't use text messages. I think you guys may have heard, one of the devices used to attack our privacy and civil liberties is the, what's it called? It's a device that emulates a cell tower. I can't think of the name right now.
Oh, yeah. Damn, I know what you're talking about.
I'm not even going to pretend I know the name of that thing, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so they do a man-in-the-middle attack, and basically it's a portable cell tower.
Yeah,
and,
Jen Champ said
they can pull all of
NSA.
your communications.
Yeah, he says Jen Champ says NSA started the PRISM program years ago, looking into it. So
PRISM, and then there was Echelon, which was with Canada, because the United States couldn't spy on its citizens, so they got Canada to spy on the United States and then share the data with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the Five Eyes. It's the Five Eyes, and they do it for Canada too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What's the Five Eyes?
The Five Eyes is basically a set of nations that are in alignment with each other, and they'll share intelligence with each other. And one of that intelligence is data on that country's civilians.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, Vin. We got Vin on the. You're coming in. You're coming in twice, Vin. Look at that. No, we can take one out.
It's double Vin.
All right, I'll mute my cell phone now. Now that I'm connected
Yeah, we'll
again.
take it out. We'll take it out. Yeah. Hold on. Let me line this up here. All right. So, yeah, go over the Five Eyes again for the folks out there.
So the Five Eyes is basically 5 nations. Among those, I believe it's the United States, Canada, New Zealand, I think Australia.
I believe
someone else.
Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Australia?
think England.
Is it the
England.
England? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically the Anglosphere, and
Right.
because they can't spy on their own citizens for the most part, they get the other countries to do it for them.
Oh.
And they share intelligence between each other.
Okay.
Not just on civilian intelligence, but military intelligence and such too.
Yeah. It's like wife swapping for spying on your own people to get around laws. Yeah, that's yeah. I do remember talking about that or hearing about that particular thing. Yeah. James Miller says it's Britain, Canada, U.S., Australia, and New Zealand. What the hell? Why would New Zealand
And that's
be
what
in
we
there?
said.
Yeah.
The
Why is
Kiwis and the Aussies.
What are they up to? Why are they part of this?
Because they're all like us.
Yeah, right.
Like Finn said, the Anglosphere.
Yeah.
The white supremacists, they're all getting together.
So actually, there's a website that I use called privacytools.io. It basically gives you a list of resources on what tools and what services to use to maintain your privacy. And it specifically mentions avoid any services that are hosted in these countries, which is pretty hard. Because these countries would have to, if demanded by their respective governments, would have to hand that data over. So even if you have nothing to hide, you also don't have anything to show either.
Yeah.
So, which leads me to my next point.
Right.
The thing is that when you mention this to people, they think one, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Or two, they think, you have something to hide. It's like, no, I don't have anything to hide, but I sure as hell don't want you to know what kind of food I ate last night.
Yeah, we're all entitled to our privacy. It doesn't matter if you have nothing to hide. If they know who you are, they can do so much to you, right? You can be manipulated. You could be pushed in directions, And then the thing is that honestly, everyone's living their life and being who they are, and you could take any moment of someone's life and use it against them and make other people think, look at this horrible thing this guy said over here, right? Especially taken out of context.
We see that today already. People are digging up people's tweets from when they were 10 and then having used against them.
That's pretty. You're canceling people. I give everybody a pass. From the age of 21 and under, if you tweeted something stupid, God bless you. I don't count it against you.
Yeah.
But Because realistically, if there were cell phone cameras when I was in my 20s, I would not be employable. I'd probably be in jail. Because the dumb crap I did that never got documented, thank God.
We all say and do things that out of context, or just even, it's just not other people's business. There's things that people think, say, do, thoughts that they have in their own privacy or whatever, that someone could take and use that against them. And it doesn't really matter what the reason is, what's the excuse, what's the reason that they said or did this thing. People are entitled to privacy. Now, of course, if you're gonna tweet things and put things, I don't know why a 10-year-old is tweeting, but I mean, hey, that 10-year-old could be famous or whatever and putting thoughts out there. The things you put in public, that's public, right? So someone going back and using that or whatever, you made it public. Still, I agree. Like, what does this really matter? How does this paint a picture of who you really are as a human being?
But all right, so I think Vinh has a corporate job. You do software development, right, Vinh?
Yep, I work for the corporate.
All right, I did software development for 15 years. I'm doing virtual infrastructure for a pretty big company. If they scrub my social media, they probably wouldn't employ me. And I'm just saying, stuff I post, the 2A stuff, they probably would not employ me.
Yeah. But these tactics, and even outside of us being gun people, these tactics can be used against everyone. Like right now, I always say this, okay, fine. A lot of people go, who cares? It's gun guys. You don't need all those guns or whatever. Anyway, the thing is that, what about when they decide, we want everyone to drive electric cars? That's what we think is the new good thing. Yeah. At some point,
anything over 50 horsepower and you're a terrorist.
Yeah,
you're a vehicular terrorist.
Yeah, because you hate the planet. You're racist. I saw something today that, man, I wish I could find that thing. But there was an article. I don't know if I sent that to myself. But there was an article talking about all the hottest places in the world are where the poor, unfortunate,
Jesus,
people are in the world. They can't.
Yeah. So now the sun is racist.
That goes away from science.
Yeah, the sun is
but
racist.
Trust the science. You gotta trust the science.
Yeah. And for sure, look, I mean, if you think about it logically, like I think, so for example, if you're in a city, it's probably going to be warmer than if you're in the country. Right? There's a lot of things going on in the city. You've got subways and, you've got all kinds of, you got more electricity going, more people, all of that kind of stuff happening inside of cities versus out in the country. And then, you have a lot of people tend to like build up around cities because, they need to work someplace, right? And that's going to be a hub for people to find jobs and things like that. Whereas in the country, you have more trees. There's not things running on the ground and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to tend to be cooler. That it's just so stupid to say that, oh no, this is a proof of like somehow people are being racist against people and making only certain areas hot. If there's such a thing.
Well, I'm exporting my heat to poor areas where non-whites live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rich. You're oppressing us people of color by exhaling hot air.
Wait.
Oh boy.
Hold on. There is one privilege better than white privilege, Vinh. Do you know what that is?
What?
Oh Lord.
Asian privilege. And Asians are Anglo-adjacent. I hope you understand.
Oh my gosh.
You're going down a path now. Go ahead. Go ahead, Vinh.
Shots
fired. Shots fired.
I've seen that line being used because supposedly Asian people don't fit the oppressed criteria enough. So now that's being weaponized against it, which goes to show if any group of any minority, any background, any trait that they have that doesn't fall in line with what these people want, they will demonize.
Make up rules. Make up BS rules. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still doing
Well,
we're not escaping from from what we have, right? In the guise of whatever, of being woke or whatever the hell this is, we're still enforcing racism in other ways. Not just
okay.
like, obviously there's a lot of white people who are upset about all of a sudden becoming the villains and the bad guys in every single story, but still yet somehow these guys are finding a way to go, oh well, Asian people have an unfair advantage over here, and then these people have, like, what's happening?
Do you know what? If Asian people work their ass off, they deserve what they get, and that's where it is. And I was afraid. So my daughter, Hank knows my daughter. Vin, you don't know my daughter. She's adopted from China. And I was worried about her filling out college applications and, them seeing that she's Asian. Because I forget if it was Harvard or Yale, but they knock you down a few points if you're Asian. And that was a big court case.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Vin?
I think it's messed up. I mean, it's really just enforces the racism that's already on life support, right? If we're supposed to be, progressive as a society, we're supposed to treat everyone the same, and then now treating everyone the same is not enough anymore. Now you got to do this equity.
Yeah. And then the process of equity, you're taking, if there was any kind of semblance of natural equity, because you think you have to readjust it, you're taking it away from people. Right? So we're going in the opposite direction of things. It's, to circle back to what we're talking about as gun guys, the same people who are saying everyone should be who they are, everyone should be proud of who they are, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. There's no greater conspiracy amongst us as gun guys. We love guns, right? We like the idea of making them, shooting them, owning them, talking about the history of it and all that kind of stuff. There are people out there who intend to do bad things, and they don't care where they get weapons from or how they create destruction or chaos, right? They don't care about these things. We care about this.
The thing that drives me crazy is the same argument the left use about abortion. It needs to be safe, legal, blah, 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 because there's going to be back alley abortion, so we have to have abortion legal. But the BS is, doesn't that argument work for firearms? Let's take a look at some place like Chicago. Any of these Democrat-run cities, which all are Democrat-run, that have restrictive firearm regulations that prevent honest citizens from owning firearms. In other words, there's a defenseless, honest population. So the predators will look for the advantage and the ability to dominate the honest people. But you level the playing field, you have some place like Florida. Look at someplace like Miami. I think even maybe Miami has a Democrat mayor. But Florida gun laws are controlled by Tallahassee. They're not controlled by the mayor. So you're not getting all of this gun crime like you do in Baltimore, Chicago, or New York City.
Because everyone, if they want to, can defend themselves. And a lot of people take that up, including Democrats, including people who are very liberal. If you live in cities like this, and you support these kinds of policies, but you're worried for your own security, guess what you do? You go get guns if you can get it. Even in New York City, even though you can't do it, people still get it, and they have it illegally. And they're supporting the people who are going to lock them up because they're worried for their own safety every day, So, go ahead, Vin.
That's one thing I've always found is very interesting. I know most people are not single-issue voters, right? So I think that the more left-leaning Democratic folks that do value their right to own and bear arms and then protect themselves, I hypothesize that they consider other voting issues to hold higher regard. And I guess my internal deliberation about that is that if there is no higher regard than protecting life, how will you protect way of life?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Maybe you just leave it up to someone else to figure it all out for you. I don't really think people. I think there's people who support that idea that don't really support that idea. There's no There's no way. There's no way that human beings really want to leave their life up to. There might be some crazy people. There might be a couple of crazy people. Most of us don't want to leave our lives in the hands of other people.
It's
Do you think
okay,
that's
Hank. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Eat the bug.
no? I don't want to be someone's pet. I don't.
Take the blue pill.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Okay, so listen, we should pivot a little bit here. Talk about some 3D printed stuff or whatever. See what you guys have. I have some stuff here that I was going to show because we were going to have the Hilljack folks on, and for some reason we don't have them on.
Vinh, do you remember Hilljack from Iraq Veteran?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were supposed to come on. I'm not sure.
3D printed
designs.
Say that again.
I tried to sell them one of my designs.
Oh, you did? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we were supposed to get them on the show. I'm not sure what happened. I know Lola was communicating with them. Lola went back and looked at the stuff, so they were supposed to be on today. There might be some miscommunication. I'm not coming down on those guys. Something went wrong here, and we'll sort it out. We'll get them on. Let me just also ask everyone who's out there watching, listening to us right now, smash the thumbs ups on this. We need it. We got to fight the algorithm over here. But I do have stuff from Hilljack. Let me see here. I'm going to pull out. What is this?
So Hilljack, they were 3D printing loaders, and they were giving them away at Iraq Veteran, which I thought was real generous.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
They did. They gave away to people, like at least one free one. So this is a 556 one right here, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And let me see if I could show this to you. So here it goes. Here's a. Let's see. I don't know how much. Okay, there we go. So here's a used.
I like the art.
Yeah. Trademark Hank Strange skull on it, and there you go. That's how that works. And it'll help you load a magazine. Boom, boom. Check that out. So that's the 556 one right there. I've got 556. I think I also have. I'm gonna pull it up. I have one. So they make these for almost everything. We can go check out their website. But this is a PPQ magazine here, and one of these is for the PPQ. Let me see. Is it this green one? Yep. So here we go. So this particular one right here is for the PPQ. So let's see if we can get this to focus. Come on, there we go. Look at that. Right? I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A loader, a quickie loader is a relatively simple thing, and there are guns that when you buy them brand new come with their own loaders, but sometimes you lose that. Maybe you bought the gun used, you don't have it. So I'm gonna recommend everyone go check out Hilljack. I'm gonna see if I could pull up the website here and share it with you guys.
And we're not going to talk about the other cool loader that was at Iraq Veteran.
What other cool loader that we're not going to talk?
I can't talk about it.
Let's not talk about it. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here, Vin. Is this something I'm missing?
No. You're involved, Hank. You're forgetting.
Oh, really? Okay, good. It's a good thing I'm forgetting.
The other story that won't be told about Iraq Veteran.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is. All right, here's the website. Let's see if we can get this in here. Bam. All right. So here's the website. It's hilljack.com. Oh, without the C. So it's HILLJAK.com. There it goes. They've got it for the P365. You can go through a whole bunch of them to list. Let's see what's the most popular ones on here.
And was the T-shirt they were giving away said "Make it a quickie"? Was that it, or was that somebody else?
I think there was a T-shirt like that. I don't know if I got one of those T-shirts, but they have tons of these things, and I think it's a pretty cool thing. They're not expensive, $12-15 or whatever. I think that's relatively good. So anyway, shout out to those guys. Don't know what happened there. We will sort that out and get them back here at a later time. I'm sure Lola is working on that or checking up on it. John Tram says, need some 3D printed 25 round M&P 1522 mags for the 3D printed Smith & Wesson MP 1522 carbine.
Ah.
So that actually is a project that's being worked on right now.
Okay, tell us about that.
Yep. Hoffman Tactical in Deterrence Suspense / Catalog. He has a beta open for that magazine set right now. And you can actually buy the springs from Black Dog magazine. Of course, they're sold out now because there was also another magazine project I just wrapped up. I think that makes for 3 printable 22 magazines now. Now, John, if you want to shoot 3D print magazines, check out the catalog for 2 of the magazine designs for CMMG replacement magazines. And you can print the SW1522 Lola that I made and use CMMG magazines with your 1522. That's if you want to be versatile. And of course, your SW1522 mags will fit inside the CMMG Lower 2. They just won't have the mag hole open.
Okay. All right.
You mean last round bolt hold open?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have the, what was it? Was it Taurus PT111 drop? Was that it?
Yes. We had a Taurus PT111 drop and the SP 2022 that already dropped.
Where can I find these? Where can I find these?
You can look at the catalog. So catalog, but with a G for GAT, like GAT.
Oh, catalog. Catalog. I get it. Okay.
Also on Deterrence Dispensed, we have links to our Odyssey / library page where you can find these files and go ahead and download and use them. Now, the files are in beta. They'll be on our Rocket chat. So, go to chat.deterrencesuspense.com.
So the catalog.com is where I need to go to. Here, I'll share that with everyone. There we go. The catalog.com, hybrid design, printable frames. Where should I go? Which one? There's so many choices here. What should
So
I
you go
into?
towards... So check out 3D Print Magazine since we're looking for magazines in particular.
Okay. All right, here we go. Loading. Come on. All right. So every town, quote unquote, every town 3D printable AR-1522 LR magazine. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep, that's the one that just dropped.
Okay.
Hoffman Tacticals is still in beta. That's dropping pretty soon.
Okay. Wait, hold on.
I have an older model too of a magazine that I made as well that's compiled with CMMG.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2 different variants of the CMMG magazine.
Okay. I see 3D printed waffle, AR-15 waffle magazine, an AR-22 LR magazine kit. Okay. So pretty much this is the place to go.
Yep.
And it looks like this is all on Odyssey.
Correct. The files, the release packages, the final, software-controlled release package is put on something much more resilient, much more permeant than any other hosted solution. It's put on Odyssey because it will basically exist forever.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. I think
So,
my
Vin,
videos are up there too. Go ahead.
I got a
Rich.
question for you, Vin.
Uh-oh.
The super secret project that you didn't know about that I was working on, is there any new developments?
See, Rich is talking in riddles. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's
the
talking.
thing I was working on that I showed you at Iraq Veteran.
Yeah, because he can remember back then.
I have very bad
He's
memory.
pretty young. He can remember.
No, he can't remember.
I had it in a Ziploc bag. It was printed in black.
No, I don't think you remember, Vin.
Oh, that thing. Okay. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
No top secret developments on that?
No. You're just
Alright.
going to have to
Parts
be
are
patient.
frickin'-
We are close to
we can't get
release
parts.
Yeah.
when we get parts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, parts in general are hard to come around. We saw what happened with the FNS model. $150 gun turned into $450 by a bunch of scalpers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so when do you think this part situation is going to turn around? I mean, with possible the ammo situation is turning around a little bit. What do you think about parts?
Now, OEM kit parts, I don't think those will ever get better, especially with
Really?
Glocks. Glocks, I think, has the notoriety and the pop culture icon. But in terms of parts like the FNS, that was only around a long time because they happened to be super surplused from the Maryland Police Department, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
really, we will only ever heal on parts in general if manufacturers and vendors started, reverse engineering the designs and then making their own spin-offs of that.
Mm-hmm.
Or until then, all we're going to see is Glock aftermarket parts and whatever surplus we can get our hands on off, gun broker or every gun part.
Okay.
I think that's the unfortunate reality.
Mm-hmm.
That's why nowadays many developers, including me, are very hesitant to mention whenever or even tease design, because the moment we hint at something, it disappears immediately.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, all right, Vin will be, or, Vin and his guys are working on something like a new firearm grip. And let's just say it's like JSD Supply is doing like the SIG P365.
Mm-hmm.
And if it comes out that, hey, we're going to be doing a SIG P365, all of a sudden, all of the barrel slides, all of the components that you would need to complete it are out of stock or crazy priced.
Mhm.
So that's the problem with the 3D printing realm right now is unless you're printing something like a 1022, which the price isn't going nuts. Yeah, any pistol or anything you're coming out with, and then you announce like, hey, I got this design.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the parts are unavailable.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's the best solution for this, Vin? What is the best solution to this problem? Because, I mean, 3D printing is only going to become more and more popular here as we go forward. So what do we do?
There is no ultimate good solution. There's ways to curb it. Now, for example, I have a Patreon, and I mentioned to my Patreon, get this parts kit, or hey, here's some listings I found off of Gunbroker EGP that you should grab if you're interested in building.
Mm-hmm.
Hint,
Mm-hmm.
Say again.
I'm saying hint.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Oh, not like that. I'm not trying to. Oh my gosh. But
Uh-huh.
curtailing to a specific audience, the ones that are invested, because at that point, if you're a patronage to Control Pew or me or any other developer, you're basically investing in the movement. So your investment now delivers you information on what parts kits to get.
Yeah.
It's preventing people who are just casually printing from scooping information or running off and scalping it. I had one content maker. He told me that on his video, one of the people who were watching it said, "I'm not even printing guns. All I saw was this video, and I went and scooped the parts kit to sell later." And
Oh crap!
that got me really mad because it's really morale killing, right? It's really depleting, and it also got him mad because what honestly a dick move to just rub it in.
Yeah.
So, Hank, if you had
Money
half
off
as many thumbs up as people making airplane crashing jokes in the comments, you'd be over 500 by now.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah. Okay. Are you getting a little? You getting a little sensitive to the airplane crashing?
No, not at all. I just
mean,
think it's funny.
You're from the squadron. Are you wearing a squadron shirt right now?
No, I'm wearing
Let's see. What's this
the Flying
FlyingrRich
Rich shirt.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. FlyingrRich shirt there. Okay.
Just the Flying Rich shirt.
Yeah. By the way, you guys should smash the thumbs ups for all the folks out there. We do appreciate that. Okay, so listen, you mentioned people making the parts, right? Like if people got into making the parts. Is that realistic? Because I think I was talking to some people about making parts and saying, hey, there's a real demand for these parts right now, but it's not so easy, for example, to make Glock parts as it seems, right? Yeah. So
Glocks, to my understanding, are very difficult to make. That's why they're hard to come by.
Yeah.
Some designs are a little simpler. I think maybe the FNS, maybe, or like the Diamondback pistol, maybe. But there's no pistol or no design engineered to be commercially manufacturable. I mean, on a large scale by simple design. And I think that's actually a niche that some 3D developers are going for, is that they're targeting the market segment of, okay, not entirely do-it-yourself, but mostly parts that can be do-it-yourself, but because they can't be do-it-yourself, they're easy to spin up and manufacture at a large scale.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a future where 3D printing is heading.
In terms of 3D printing the parts, I think I don't know if that's what you're saying. Wolfwind Prepper says sounds like making DIY parts or PIY, or is it BIY? I don't know. DIY.
It's
Print it. Yeah, print it yourselves. Parts is the next best step for printed pews. So
ideally, yes. Ideally, as many printed parts as possible is, the best case. Because you just make it at home.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was specifically talking about was a market segment of people who just want to print and assemble,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
the parts that you assemble with are easily manufacturable.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe. So I think you were mentioning a couple of guns that are easy for other people to make the parts.
No, I'm hypothesizing
Okay.
based on their geometries.
Yeah. Because what are the parts that are most common that people are looking for donut parts? I'm just trying to have like this, this conversation here to see, what is it? Is it triggers? Is it, what is it that are commonly the donor parts, and what could we do to make it easier to get those so there isn't a glut of those kinds of parts out there?
It's not really specific donor parts. It's donor kits. You make a gun, you want to make the entire kit to make the gun. Barrels, slide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, Rich, stop fighting with everyone in the chat for no reason. I don't have any clue why you're fighting with everyone in the chat today. Just stop fighting with people and pay attention to the 3D printing conversation we're having here, instead of you crashing your plane that we all know that you do.
Twice.
Yes, the two times you've actually flown. Right. Right. Yeah.
So me and Whistling Diesel, right? So when you 3D print a pistol, what you're doing is you're printing the grip. So then you need the parts that fit into it. So whether it's the rail kit, the trigger bar, all of those types of things, and then you need the slide for it, the slide in the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Vinh, they'll be working on something. They'll say, "Hey, we got this design out," and then boom, all of a sudden the parts kits that were cheap and available are gone or crazy expensive because people saw that there's going to be a need for them. They bought them up and they want to sell them at a higher price.
Yeah, but it seems like there's a business plan here, right? That someone could follow. Because if people are just printing certain things and then these guns are being developed off of these kits, if we were able to develop these parts, the parts that are commonly used for that, then maybe that can be put out to different smaller manufacturers out there, and those guys can make money by going, okay, we'll just download the schematics for this or whatever, pop it into our CNC machines. We might have a couple sitting around. We'll make these parts, and we'll somehow make that available so there isn't this glut. Does that make any sense, or is that completely illogical?
Well, yeah, I think so. What Alex Control Pew's idea is he wants to have a firearm that you don't need to buy any parts for, that you can electrochemically etch the barrel, that you can wind your own springs for, that you don't have to go to McMaster-Carr, the hardware store, nothing, that everything is available. But maybe there's a middle ground where, hey, you don't need rails. Maybe you could do it like an AK. You get some metal flat, you bend it up, and then you have a rail set for the firearm instead of waiting for Glock 17 rails to come in stock again. Something like that. Who knows? Maybe there'll be a middle ground firearm where there's still components you're going to buy off the shelf, but they're going to be cheap and readily available. And let's just say something like the 1022.
Yeah, or maybe the High Point. Are there any 3D prints based off of High Point?
Yeah, there's one in beta right now by Ivan the Troll.
Oh, there is. Okay, so you think that's just gonna kill? That's gonna kill the High Point, or like make the High Point market take off, right? In your opinion?
Already did.
Oh, it already
did.
Okay.
We've all been scooping up High Points before beta dropped.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there has to be a way around this. There has to be so just speak to this, Vin. What's your ideas on this? Or do you think we're just doomed on this? We just can't get around it easy.
The idea
Mm-hmm.
is to evolve from part kit guns. Well, part kit guns are great. They're
Mm-hmm.
great in that they mobilize an existing supply,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's the supply is pre-existing, and the demand for part kits from buybacks and destroyed guns
Mm-hmm.
far exceeds the amount of guns being destroyed.
Okay.
The evolution of this is to create a design with the intent of printing the parts or easily acquiring manufacturable COTS components.
Mm-hmm.
Having a vendor make a simple slide,
Mm-hmm.
or going to Home Depot and getting something commercial off the shelf. Um, that I think is the evolution. The FGC9 Mark II. That's a preview of what is to come.
Okay. All right. So explain that to us, and where can I find it so I can show people what we're talking about there? Where can I
The
find that?
FGC9 Mark II. It's also on the catalog on the predominantly printed designs.
Okay.
What the FGC9 Mark II is? Oh, sorry.
Mhm. Is that printable frames and receivers, or
Uh,
primarily? Is it primarily printed designs?
yes, primarily printed design.
Okay. All right. So I'll pull that up here while you're talking about it. Okay. So FGC9 should be in there somewhere, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's see. Where is this? I don't see it in here actually.
Really?
Oh,
Is there a page 2 on that? Or?
hybrid,
Let me
possibly
see.
hybrid.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll keep looking for it. Go ahead though. Don't let me stop you.
So, for the folks in the audience who don't know what the FGC9 is, the FGC9 stands for F gun control 9. It's a 9 millimeter pistol caliber carbine,
Mhm.
and it is mostly printed. The parts that you acquire are all parts you can get from the hardware store
Mhm.
or from Europe. Especially in Europe, because that's the intent this gun was made. It was made for markets and areas that don't have traditional gun parts available. And so the FGC Mark 9 is basically, going to, basically the intent of it is to defeat gun control. In that, if you can make a gun semi-automatic or even automatic, out of basic hardware store parts
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
welding some rods together,
Mhm.
there is no regulation that can prohibit these things from existing.
Yeah.
Are we going to start issuing licenses to 3D printers? Are we going to start issuing licenses to go to the Home Depot?
They'll try. They'll try.
And so, they'll try.
Yes.
So
DRM?
Yeah.
the Mark II is basically an evolution of the the original FGC9. Has a HK slap, revised upper receiver, um, a few
Mhm.
aesthetic updates.
Yeah,
And there's a few
I
more.
rolled it in. Yeah, I rolled in a picture of it. So I mean, when you go there, that the files. Let's see, what's the actual? So once you click on that picture, then you could just download the files for that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And the parts kits are available from Math Corp too. They do stock wind chime kits that you can
Okay.
just so happen to assemble um,
Okay. Conveniently.
the Mark II with. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Listen, are there? Go ahead. Did you want to say something here before we?
No, no.
Yeah. So should I go to your Instagram? Last time you were on, I was not able to show your Instagram, and now
Yeah, you
my
had to be logged in for that. It wouldn't let you scroll that far.
yeah.
I think I have some videos on my Instagram too. Let me pull it
Yeah.
up.
So what's the Instagram again? I can look you up on. Can I just search Vin here or
My
what?
Instagram is my last name, so NGUYEN KVVN. That's both my Twitter and my Instagram.
Okay. So let me see if I can get internet here. I'll be able to. There we go. Okay. So here, I'll run it in right now. We're on your website. So what's this? What's this here? The AR7.
That that is a new frame for the AR7. Called the Camper 3 because the first ones
Hmm.
that came were called the Explorer 2 and the Explorer pistol.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, what this is a printed frame for the AR7 kit. It's compatible with Henry, Charter Arms, and
Okay.
Armalite kits.
Yeah, like the Henry Survival, right? The Henry Survival
Yes.
rifle.
Right.
Okay, very cool.
The rear Picatinny rail for folding it up, and of course the barrel's still removable. So
Oh, cool. So if you already have a Henry Survival rifle, you could just 3D print this and swap what parts over? What parts
yep,
do you need? Just the barrel, or you're gonna have to swap over a lot more parts than that?
barrel, the bolt, fire control group,
Oh, okay.
very very small amount of parts.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's cool. Let's see what else you got on here. Okay, this is a charger pistol.
Yep, that's Ivan the Troll's 1022.
All right. So you were hanging out with Ivan the Troll, I take it?
No, I just printed his design at home.
Oh, you printed his design? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Are these your printers right here?
they're two of my printers.
Okay. How many you got?
I have 4 now.
4? Okay. There you go. All right. Let's see. This. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
That is my latest affront to all that is objectively good and holy.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's keep going. I'll keep going here. If people have, let's see. Let's. Wolfwind Prepper says got an AR7 that is 1022 mag. What is he saying? That is
Compatible.
1020.
He's
Yeah, is
asking
it
if it's
1022?
1022 mag compatible.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. I don't know if it's possible because of the feet lips and the shape of the magazine.
Oh, okay.
It may interfere with fire control group.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
All right. So let's go through a couple more of these, and then we'll go to some other stuff. This is interesting.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's see the trash bottle.
Yeah.
So that takes Glock mag, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and this is
That's
called
cool. I
what?
so want to print one of those.
Those kits are hard to get.
Yes.
The traditional Tech 9 AB10 mag, AB10 kits are hard to get. They
Oh, okay.
also become exorbitantly overpriced too.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just because you can easily assemble them.
Yeah. So there you go
Now,
again.
I will hint that there is a variant out there of that design
There is.
that that you need specific design for, and I found out
Yeah.
because I tried to assemble it with that variant, and it did not go together.
Oh, it didn't
for,
work.
Yep.
Is there a
The parts
design
didn't
based
fit.
off of a stem parts?
Not to my knowledge.
There should be. There should be.
See, that's what I was thinking. The stem
Yeah.
is so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple, and I actually know the guy who owns StemParts.com very well.
Ooh.
Yes. So, have you ever heard of StemParts.com? No. Yeah. So, that is a thing. It is a thing. Let me see if I can go there and pull it up. If I can go to the website. But yes, I do know the guy who owns StemParts.com, and so do a lot of people that watch this show.
He was on yesterday.
Yeah, it's Walter. Just yeah.
So I thought the coolest thing was what they laser engraved the AR-15 lowers, with Hank Strange's logo and all that bit.
Mm-hmm.
They have a 5th axis, and they put the stem tube in, and they mark with the laser the cuts, everything that they need to do.
Yeah. So check it out. Check this out right here. StemParts.com. So you can get Sten Mark III barrel bushings. You can get a receiver tube and templates. PPS 43 receiver section. Sten Mark II barrel bushing. There you go. Sten Mark II barrels. Sten spring set. Sterling MK4 receiver and template. Sten Mark III barrels. PPS barrel. 1919 A4. I'm just saying, Vin. Someone might want to think about this, because I do know the guy who owns this website. As I said, it's Walter. Not Walther that's sponsoring the show. The other Walter from Safety Harbor Firearms that also sponsors the show. Yeah. So, come on. We can do this.
I'll have to see my backlog. Usually my policy of people who ask, can you make X, Y, and Z design? I'd
Mhm.
say you have a few options. Your first one is to, you know, um,
Mhm.
send me a parts kit or send me a loaner/donor gun or
Mhm.
contract. So
Mhm.
otherwise, it gets out of my backlog. So
Right. Oh, okay. So if you get some
yeah,
parts, you're saying translation, you get some parts, you can move that up out of the backlog. So you're saying,
yeah. After I
okay,
make sure that it's a doable design.
okay,
I'm not going to take parts for a design that I know can't
hmm
be done, and then someone will be out of parts. That'd be really,
yeah.
really mean.
I think we can work on this in the background. Obviously, we're talking about it here, and I kind of have this show as my like little business meeting that I open up to everyone who's looking at it. But think about it, just knocking around in the old
So
cranium.
I'm
Hmm.
not the Sten guru. I don't know a whole lot about the Stens.
Hmm.
Can you buy everything to build a Sten from stenparts.com, or there's still some things
There's
like the
things.
bolt that you have to have?
Yeah, there's some things that aren't there, and obviously, I'm not
Okay.
going to speak. I'm not going to speak for Walter. BWE Firearms says it would take longer to 3D print a Sten receiver than it would take to build a Sten SMG from DOM tubing.
Hmm.
So that's from BWE that I think would know a little. What I'm trying to say, there must be something that we could make that you can somehow take some parts or something like that that's available and simple, and we can go, if we could do this, we could do this.
See, I think if there was something way to make the Sten cooler with 3D printing,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
then that would be interesting.
yeah.
Hmm.
Dan Hates You has a great idea. He says, make Stens great again.
Oh, it's got to be the Sten pup. We got to 3D print the Sten pup.
Sten pup.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
there's. I believe Stens are also full auto, right? Is it?
There are. You know what? I'm not. Yes, Stens are,
So
but there can be semi-auto versions. Yes. Go ahead.
yeah, it's difficult to make them semi-auto because
Hmm.
they were primarily designed as a super cheap machine gun.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a little bit of a quote unquote gray area.
So they're designed to fire from an open bolt as a machine gun,
Hmm.
and to be semi-auto, they have to fire from a closed bolt, which is actually a little more complex to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not finding SOT to work with then, or with an SOT to borrow their Sten if I want to
Yeah.
work this project.
I know some SOTs, in Florida. In Florida, I know some people, but you have to. I told you, you got to come down and visit. Have you ever shot a Sten gun?
No, I'm not.
You have not. I
Oh
can.
yeah,
I
oh
can
it's a
make
lot of
that
fun. The
happen.
cyclic rate,
Yeah.
I love the slow cyclic rate of that. That is so cool.
Yeah. When they say humming like a sewing machine, that thing's like sewing machine. Chug 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 chug.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Wolfwind Prepper says there are semi-auto variations, not very reliable though.
Actually, I think the only Stens I've shot are full auto, and they
Yeah.
were Walters.
Yes. Dan Hates You says, isn't a Sten pup just an AUG para? So there you go. And BWE Firearms says, yes, Stens are full auto, made to be built in British people's garages during World War II. So they were made. It was made for this reason. In history, it was made for this reason. We can't, as Biden is trying to say, it's not so easy to get the F-15 or those nuclear bombs, but I think we can figure something out around this.
I have friends that have MiGs.
Oh yeah, flyable.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I think that's one of Walter's dreams also, to get a MiG.
You don't want one.
No, it's too much maintenance. Yeah.
Maintenance, expense, fuel economy. So the problem with a lot of the fighters or trainers that came over from Russia when the Soviet Union fell is that they were just ungodly expensive to run, and only a government can afford it and maintain. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's a question. Lola says you're prolific with printing. What's some non gun related stuff that you're printing? That's what she says. what other things has Vinh printed outside of Pew Pew parts, and what printer does he use? Which we showed the printer here not too long ago. What was that? What was that printer?
So I have a Ender 3,
Mhm,
an Ender 3 Pro. I just got an Ender 3 V2 to leave my parents' house,
mhm.
and I got an Ender 5 Plus, which I was cheap enough to get open box from Micro Center and figure out how to fix it.
Okay, what did you say about your parents' house just now?
I just got an Ender 3 V2 to leave my parents' house.
To leave over at
Yeah,
the parents. Oh, that's your backup in case the Bat Cave gets compromised.
no, just more of a convenience thing. Every
Oh,
time I
okay.
leave my house,
Mhm.
all my work comes to a standstill.
Okay.
While I'm in Fort Worth,
Mhm.
all this is on a standstill.
Right,
So
right, right. Okay.
if
Understood.
I could,
Understood.
if I could have a travel 3D printer,
That's
I'm
what I
bringing
was
it
just
everywhere.
thinking. Yeah, yeah. There are no travel 3D printers yet then.
No,
No. Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. All right. So
Um,
what stuff are you 3D printing outside of the gun world?
uh, outside the gun world, I mean,
Nothing. That's
not
the
not a
answer,
whole
Lola.
lot.
Nothing,
There's,
woman.
there's like washer dryer knobs.
Okay.
The the puff iron yoke for the industrial iron that is in my dad's place is
Okay.
broke. So I printed a yoke design for him.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay.
And that's what I think is the versatility of 3D printing is that in the
Mhm.
future I see it being a household item in
Mhm.
that people can easily design parts and design replacement things for things that need to be replaced.
Mhm.
Small trinkets and stuff.
Yeah. But
And I hope we
mostly
go towards that world
he's printing
because
these.
yeah,
This is how it goes. This
the
is the kind of stuff.
toys.
Yeah, that's mostly what he's printing. Yeah. Is that to say? What about you, Rich? Do you do more gun printing or other things printing?
Lately, it's kind of been half and half. So I do
Mhm.
mini computers, so single board computers, Raspberry Pi type stuff.
Mhm.
So I've been working on a design. It's like a mini Mac Pro trash can, and it has four Raspberry Pi single board computer
And then he freezes.
power supplies. So it's just
Right.
going to be one Ethernet cable going in, one power line going in, and you have a Raspberry Pi cluster.
Okay. Okay.
That's not ungodly awful eyesore to look at that you could put on a desk and it looks nice.
Okay.
Because right now I have an eyesore cluster on my desk.
Oh, okay. All right. Necessity is the mother of invention. What do you think about
But
that, Vin? Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I
go
could
Vin.
see a stack of Raspberry Pi 4s being K3S nodes. That'd be very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
So
K3S is
it's running
lightweight
Docker.
Kubernetes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for the printing.
Okay,
Well,
so let's go back a little bit on
Okay.
that. I think
Mm-hmm.
we need to explain to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically so containerized software. Basically, you could put everything you need to run that software inside something like a container. Let's say you want to
Mm-hmm.
build something, or say you want to run something, right? And instead of setting up a new computer, a new VM over and over, VM is virtual machine. So basically, set up a new computer over and over to do a certain thing. You just give it a container, an image with everything on there already, and just throw it out at various um, non-discriminate nodes,
Mm-hmm.
that can run that image. And basically, what a stack of nodes, could be Raspberry Pis, could be computers, could be just random cluster of computers
Mm-hmm.
that can run those images and execute them and feed results back, or just host services. So,
Okay.
and Kubernetes is just
so
the orchestrator that manages it all.
Okay.
So Kubernetes is a more efficient way of doing things. Docker or containers is a more efficient way than virtual machines. My business right now is VMware virtual machines. So I actually have an Intel cluster and an ARM cluster. But on my Intel cluster, I'm actually running Ubuntu with a Docker container in it to run actually Spaghetti Detective for my 3D printing. So Spaghetti Detective, I'm hosting locally, and it's monitoring with a webcam my prints to make sure they're correct, and it'll stop them if they're not.
Oh, okay. That's what Spaghetti Detective is.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
you can pay like a monthly service for an online spaghetti detective, but I don't want Big Brother watching what I'm printing, so I keep everything on my own network.
Mm.
And the nice thing too is that with Kubernetes, you could deploy anywhere. You could deploy into the cloud. You can deploy locally, and that's actually the framework that we're using to host a lot of our infrastructure too.
Hmm.
Make it scalable, make it redundant, just toss it somewhere and it runs.
Okay. All right. American Freedom Outdoors has this question: can you put a 3D printer in an RV? I guess you
Sure.
could
I don't see why.
technically. Yeah, you could
I don't
technically
see why
put it.
not.
Yeah, you could put it anywhere. If it's printing, what's the length of time of a typical print? How long?
Uh,
Could be anything.
12 hours maybe.
12
So
hours?
just have the print while you drive and have a battery backup just in case.
Yeah, yeah.
All my printers with backup batteries
Mhm,
in case the power goes out, which is it frequently does where I am.
mhm.
Yeah, so I do the same thing. I have a UPS on my printers because sometimes you're printing 20 hours. And there's this one project, Hank and Walter and I are working on that there's 3 components, and 3 of the components are about 20 hours each.
Mhm.
So last thing you want is it screwing up because, the power went off for 10 seconds
Mhm.
at the end in 19 hours, when you got an hour
Yeah.
left to go.
So that becomes a thing with an RV. It's like, how much is that person using that RV? Is it plugged in to somewhere so the power is always there? And then even with that, if it's plugged in, that power could go down. So I mean, it could happen in your house. So you want to have
Yep.
redundancies. You know. Let's see something here. Wheeled and Weld Armed says, Flying Rich, can you print a house for a Raspberry Pi music server and 10-inch screen?
Yeah, there's probably something on thingiverse.com. So I would either look at yegi.com or thingiverse.com first before I go out and design something. And then even if they don't have exactly what I want, maybe I can take 2 designs and mash them up. Maybe there's something that holds a 10-inch screen and maybe some case for a Raspberry Pi, and I could put them together somehow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have
But
a response to that, Vin?
Yeah, you can also check GrabCAD too. A lot of times when you're making something, people see, people already have something out for it. Most likely, you can remix and incorporate what they have to your design. And that's the beauty about free and open source development is that you can draw inspiration. You can even draw a similar design. You even draw the exact design for your particular application.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you know, going from FOSS code to FOSS hardware it's a beautiful thing to be alive for.
Mm-hmm.
so FOSS stands for Free Open Source Software.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Keep us in the game. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
Rich.
Sorry, we use a lot of acronyms where I come from, and we it's just a given that most of us assume that acronyms are the answer. So
No,
I'll make sure to explain the acronyms for you guys.
no. I understand. I understand. We'll eventually get it. We can Google if we have to. Brett Rich or Richard Monder, he says, if you can print pies, what about printing Burger King or KFC? Flying Rich. So.
Cases for pies. Oh, listen, it's a pun. It's a pun.
Yeah,
I
it's a
see.
joke. It's a joke.
All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't
you
take the
got
old
me.
people too seriously. Lola Strange says, "What's a good resource for someone that wants to get into printing?" And we'll
Well,
start with Vin, and then we'll go to Rich. Go ahead.
Um, Definitely one of the main resources to go, and I always point people to this, is theguide.controlpew.com. That's
Mm-hmm.
control as in CTRL, pew as in PEW.com. So whenever someone sends a message on Twitter insisting, hey, we're gonna go start printing, I would say go to the guide. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And Shauna Hippolyte, if I'm saying that right, says Vin. So there you go. That's one of your people.
hey Shauna, I know
Yeah.
her. So
Oh, okay. All right. Very nice. Very nice. So let's see.
Walter sent me a disappearing message on Instagram that I can only view on my phone.
Oh, Well, what's your answer to that? Resources.
My
Flying Rich.
answer was Vin's answer, so I'll have to pick another answer.
Okay.
Because, Alex Control Pews
Control
always
Pew.
gets the same questions over and over again.
Everyone should just go to Control Pew. Yeah, without a doubt.
And so that's why I came up with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good YouTube resources. So what's the guy's name? Sandalator? What's his first name? I can't remember. Is he Swedish or Finnish?
I have no idea who
so there's a lot of good people on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good resources.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more of a visual learner, so that's always a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so YouTube videos and things like that out there. I think Vin was saying it, like, it's amazing to be... Look, the other day I went, and this is a little bit off topic, but still, just to show you what's out there. I went to get my, the front windows tinted of the van, right? And the guy had a machine that cuts the tint. Seriously.
So he had a CNC blade. So it's like a vinyl cutter.
Yeah. So he goes in there, he puts in, oh, you got this van? Puts in what kind of van it is, what year, or what car you have. And then there's a sheet of tint on there, and there's a cutter that goes through there, and it just moves to the right thing and cuts a perfect piece of that tint out so they could put it on. Now, if folks don't know about this, back in the olden days, you had to buy your tint material, put it up on the window, use your razor blade skills. There was a lot of waste out of that, messed it up. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. So, then Lola and I, we were looking at some YouTube video, and a commercial came on for a machine just like what that guy was using for cutting leather and cutting cardboard and light wood. And I was like, what the hell is happening?
So Tyvin's got a vinyl cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a vinyl cutter, quick cut that's on it. It reminds me of when I used to sell cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
The guys across the balcony on the other side of the mall, they had a little machine that cuts out screen protectors.
Mm.
So, a lot of that's pretty nice to be a part of. Because it's agonizing to use a razor and it's not a fine, perfect cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So many things like this tech. The genie is out of the bottle on this tech. For sure, I think the government's going to try to slow things down, but just to think about the amazing things that we're not, I'm not going to say we're right there, but in a couple of years, we're getting closer, man. We're going to get better metal printers of things, and eventually you'll be able to, if you have a couple of machines, you'll be able to make things and more easily put those things together. I don't know how long it's going to take before we get to, like, the one machine that prints whatever you want, but we're moving in a good direction.
Vin, have you thought about building an MPCNC?
MPCNC?
A mostly printed CNC?
No, I haven't. I saw. I think it was Teaching Tech. I had his video open last night, and then I fell asleep watching it. Something about like $200 CNC mill. Or CNC router.
Oh, really?
So I might
go
rewatch that and see if.
So the MPCNC, it uses electrical conduits, so extruded metal tubing for the framework, and you're just printing like all the joints, the carriage, and all of the pieces, and it's a pretty well developed project. Oh, hey, 2A EDU's out there. Want to say hi to him?
Yep. Shout out to 2A EDU.
Hey, MP. I'm gonna put this on my tab so I know what to go find.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Like, let's just look into the crystal ball, the future. What's the next kind of machines that are coming out since we're having this conversation? What can we look forward to? What have you guys heard about out there?
One of my coworkers got a machine that's like a combination 3D printer, laser, and a couple of other things. And he's having, it's like $1,000. It does I forget, it might be, a router also or CNC. But it's like, I remember it had 3 different things. So one was 3D printing, the other was laser, and might be CNC is the third. And he said it's fantastic.
Okay. What do you think about that, Vin?
Um, I don't really know much about all-in-one machines.
Mm-hmm.
I do foresee resin printing developing much more
Hmm.
within the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a lot with traditional 3D printing FDM already in 10 years. So I think resin, we might see newer designs, larger vats, different resins, durable
Mm-hmm.
resins come about.
Maybe making molds and things like that getting easier.
Molds I don't really have much of an understanding of. The resin
Okay.
printing is
Mm-hmm.
more for creating high precision
Okay.
models.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. All right. So, okay. Other than that, what stuff do you think? What are you looking forward to out there? What do you think?
I'm actually looking forward to better software, actually.
Okay.
Software that makes modeling easier, software that makes um, diagnosing your printer easier, software that makes slicing more efficient. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
Kira go from 4.3 to 4.9, and tree supports went out of experimental into production.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't forget the code, the logic that makes the hardware run too. So that's more part that I'm excited to see.
Okay. So software getting better.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think for sure. Yeah, better making things easier to do. 3D printed models. What kind of how can we do that? So obviously software, but software intrinsically, the interface of that always has problems. I've seen, so for example, not in this particular realm of 3D printing guns that we're talking about, but in terms of making movies and things like that, I've looked at a lot of this stuff, right? Like how do you make it easier to do 3D stuff? How do you make it easier to make molds? Like, can you get some kind of digital clay that it would be easy for me to manipulate this, and then that's on there? Or how do I make a 3D model out of something? I know there's a lot of phone apps that you take a picture, you do pictures in a certain way, and that's supposed to be, a lot of that stuff is kind of primitive. Is there
Hmm.
anything? Or I remember there was a time there was an arm that you almost had like a pen thing on it that you
Yeah,
can
you
get.
traced.
Yeah, you make points around stuff. Is there anything like that? Has that come along at all since I was looking at that in the olden days?
I haven't seen much of it. I haven't done much research into them. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but I foresee things like 3D scanners becoming much more accurate, much more
Mm-hmm.
easier to use. A lot of people say, "Can you just 3D scan a model and use that?" And to that, I say, if it worked well, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the problem with the models are really just meshes that are not really accurate. They're not
Mm-hmm.
absolute designs, not absolute models. So you still have some refinement to do after effect.
Mm-hmm.
And the refinement, at that point, you may as well just hand measure
Mm-hmm.
with calipers. And so
Okay, so
yeah,
that's a better thing
I
you're
see.
thinking.
Yeah, I see that area growing.
Okay.
Um, people are using Kinects as poverty 3D scanners.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty exciting too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
so the
ahead, Rich.
Xbox Connect, yeah, the Xbox
Mhm.
Connect they're using. There's
Oh,
software
really?
for
Okay.
cell phone photogramming, and I've tried it. I don't know if the one I tried was supposed to be pretty well rated. The result wasn't so good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, your results vary. So if the surface is reflective and not flat,
Mm-hmm.
so you have issues with lighting, reflectivity, all of that comes into play when you're scanning something. And when
Mm-hmm.
you're scanning something with, say, a cell phone, because it's using the accelerometers and the cameras on the phone to figure out how it is in 3D. There's another technique where you trace a laser beam and you rotate something,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't done that. There's do-it-yourself kits for that, but I haven't tried that out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's there's always like some kind of craft involved in this stuff.
But like Vin
Ultimately,
says,
that's the
if
thing,
I'm
yeah.
making something, if I'm 3D, designing something, I'm there with my caliper, measuring it, figuring out, and then you always have to figure a little bit of wiggle room because your print isn't going to be, 100% on. There's always a
Mm-hmm.
little variation, so you have to figure out, or in this situation, do I make the measurement a little larger to account for some overage, or do I go the opposite way?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're designing the part, you got to figure that out. And I think the other thing, just kind of simply when you're 3D printing, like, so I'm 3D printing a Mac Pro trash can. If you guys don't know what that looks like, just Google Mac Pro trash can. You'll see it. And one of the tricks that I do is I'll print the piece 1/4 size just to see if, like, hey, can I print it without supports? Will it work with these settings properly? So it might take 45 minutes to do it quarter size as opposed to 5 hours full size. And the other technique I'll do is maybe I'll print something 100%, but I'll only print the section where it has to snap into the other part, so I know that I got my measurements correct and the tolerances stacking, that it'll work together. So if there's a joint where something's going to slide into something else, I'll just print it 100%, but only that part of it, not the whole thing that's going to take 10, 12 hours.
Okay, makes sense. Vin, you got what do you think about that?
I don't really have much on that. 3D printing, I think, in general is good for prototyping, and to be fair, a lot of the things that Rich explained kind of flew over me. So,
yeah.
So
Rich has got his own like tricks or whatever. How long have you been 3D printing this kind of stuff, Rich? How long have you been messing around with 3D printers? How far back do you go?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I built an ANET A8. It might be 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
And then I kind of took like a little bit of a break. And what got me back into 3D printing was I was carrying an LC9S, the Ruger LC9S. I'm a lefty, and two things would happen. Either I would bump the safety, which I finally removed the safety off the gun. The other thing is it's got the mag release on the left-hand side for your right thumb to operate. So what I wanted to do is print a left-handed version of the grip, and that's why I got back into 3D printing. So that's why I started with the photogramming on the cell phone to scan the grip. So I was hoping maybe I could take it. Ideally, if it was a perfect world, I could make a perfect scan with my cell phone. In software, invert it, so the right-handed lower grip became a left-handed lower grip, and click print. That would be the perfect world, but it's never that way.
Yeah.
I did a Canic 3D printed Canic holster for left-handed people, and I put it on Thingiverse.
Oh, cool.
Somebody downloaded it, clicked the button, flipped it, and made it a right-handed holster.
There you go. Yeah. Armament and Axis says, so Rich isn't right-handed, he's wrong-handed.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, just pure cruelty, man. Pure cruelty. I think and
from the people I know the most, right?
Yeah, I think Sport Brand. He's also a troll. He said, I downloaded an app once. Laugh out loud. That was specifically towards you. Okay, so listen, I do want to go to some news or talk about some things that are going on in the news, but how about you, Vin? What's going on in the news that you're paying attention to outside of the 3D printing world? And what kind of gun news is coming across your table?
Gun news. Okay. Well, I do know that the whole, contact your senders thing is going on to reject shipments. So I know about that. Actually, I sent an email, on my email to my senators in Georgia. And as it turns out, my senators are Warnock and Arsoff, which are vehemently anti-gun. So
right, yeah.
The chances of my message getting heard is slim to none. But contrary to Republican senators, I did get a response back.
Even if it was automated. Really? Yeah. What did they say? What did they have to say?
It's just automated. We've read your response. We've had, we'll aggregate and stuff. You might get a response back.
Right.
So that was the form letter. Thank you for contacting our office.
Yeah.
See, I don't even get that from Republican offices. It's really strange.
Really? My wife gets it all the time. Oh, that sounded wrong.
I'm
not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. I was thinking more in the context of emailing them for help too. My family were missing checks from the whole COVID thing. And the emails I sent to Democrat senators and representatives, I get a response back. Someone even reached out and said, give us your information, we'll help you with X, Y, and Z. I heard nothing from Republican representatives for our county. So
Okay.
My
like,
wife is writing the
dang.
Republicans all the time, and she always gets a response because I think they're afraid she's going to come knocking on their door.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So Chipman, I'm looking on the Truth About Guns. There's an article about Chipman on there. It says CCRKBA demands an investigation into David Chipman's allegedly racist comments. So the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, which is CCRKBA, today is demanding an immediate investigation into allegations that David Chipman, nominated to the head of the ATF, made derogatory comment about about African American agents cheating to pass an agency selection exam while he was serving with the agency in Detroit in 2007. CCRKBA Chairman Alan Gottlieb said the allegations are alarming and incredibly disturbing. He says with the racist history of gun control and past racist enforcement practices going back to Reconstruction, this is Gottlieb, the last thing we need is someone heading ATF who not only wants to ban black guns but also denigrates black people, including his own colleagues. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but this is like a story going back. What was it? I think that it happened that a big chunk of the agents who passed, or folks who passed the test, happened to be black, and Chipman was like, "Oh, well, if they passed, they must have cheated."
Because black people can't hire accountants or lawyers and don't know how to vote or work the internet either.
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Could you imagine how quickly? So we started the show talking about the sun being racist because it's hotter in minority communities, but somehow, all the lefties are going hear no evil when Chipman says, "Hey, how can black people pass the test? They're not smart enough. They must be cheating." Could you imagine, if any Republican ever said that about any kind of a test?
Oh, they'd
whether
be
it's a
riding
driver's
his ass
test or an eye
until
exam.
the end of days. Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
for sure.
yes,
So,
they'd be burning his freaking house down.
right. Yeah.
But
shout
Chipman,
It's because it doesn't fit their agenda.
No, it doesn't fit. No, it doesn't fit it. They're gonna pretend they don't hear or see that. By the way, shout out to DLD After Dark. He says, "What's up to you, Rich?"
Hey man.
He says, "What's up to everyone out there?" And what was Kioski? This is for Vin. Kioski says, "Check your junk mail," which is true. It could be in the junk mail.
A junk mail.
Yeah.
What? Where? Did you send me an email, like personal email?
No, he's saying the Republicans replying back to you.
Yeah, the Republicans.
Google's probably letting the Democrats come through on your Gmail, and the Republicans go to the junk mail.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
I checked my junk mail. I'm certain that I haven't got a response back. Even from last July when we reached out for help. No.
Oh, you're going to have to roll up on their offices. Dan Hates You says, John Cornyn sent me like a 23-page reply. I didn't even read it.
Wow.
Okay, so there you go. All right, so let's see. Rich, are there any news things that you've seen that you
I have totally been in a bubble. I have no idea what news is.
You don't know? You haven't seen any gun news, huh?
No.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Okay.
Yeah, well, if Crump's not around to tell me, I don't know.
Yeah, where is Crump?
How does the gun world function?
I don't know. Where is Crump? Is he on vacation?
Crump is making campfires with his son.
Okay, because I haven't heard from him in a couple of days. I was about to send out a, rescue squad for him.
Yeah.
Okay. The people out there in the chat, hit us with something that you want to talk about. That's in the news, and we'll cover it. We'll say whether or not we've seen it, or whatever. I did look at last night. We were talking about that thing here in Florida with the building collapsing. I have been looking at some videos of that. Yeah,
that's tragic. I can't imagine what the people are going through. Like if you had a relative or a loved one there, that's. I mean, how awful. I mean, that is just like 9/11 all over again.
For those folks, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think I was definitely seeing like pictures. People were because from what it looks like, there was some people there to fix the pool, and the people who were there taking a look at the pool, they were seeing cracks and things like that. They're like, Something's going on here. So
I think Sunday night, somebody sent me a report, and the I don't know if it was 6 years ago or so, but an engineering firm looked at issues and said, these are problems, and they will exponentially increase. The damage, the cracking in the concrete. There's all sorts of issues about cracking in the garage, which is below the building. That they apparently did not address. And I hate to be speculative on these things, but there's a report, you can read it. Somebody emailed it to me, I think Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was pretty shocking.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vin.
We know that someone, before this happened, I think someone has been paid hush money. And afterwards, after this investigation stuff, someone is going to pay big money out of their pocket for this. Maybe the government, maybe the engineers. So no, it's also unimaginable how this could be let happen, but it's also unsurprising.
Yeah. I mean, there. Even though we're here in America, there's lots of corruption and things like that, and people overlooking things and things being, mismanaged. So, yeah. Let me see. I'm looking to see if there's any other gun-related things.
Hank, how many times have I been on your show?
How many times have you been on the show? A lot. I don't know why.
This show is like the crescendo of plane crash stuff. Armonax is like, were you flying with your left hand when you crashed? And it's like, yes, it's a side stick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, listen, just ignore the bullies. Ignore the bullies out there. They're only doing it because they love you. They're only doing it because they love you. All right, let's see. I haven't seen anyone. What is this? Okay, Armin and Axes literally puts a YouTube video link in there. There's no, I haven't seen that YouTube video. Blah 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 XYZ whatever. I haven't seen it. What is the video about? So that's gonna be the easier. That's gonna be the easier thing. I don't know. That might be a video related to the building. So listen. Ultimately, we have to investigate that thing, find out what happened there, who knew about it, and yeah, there's going to be hell to pay. But probably whoever's related to that is going to be completely. They're not going to be. How many people is it that are missing right now? And and how many families in that? Yeah. Let's see. Wield and Well Arms said 300 billion allocated to COVID-19 PPE. Only 1.5% went to PPE. Blue states spent it on elections for Biden. Yeah. So there you go. And Appalachian Gun Runner says, remember that time that FlyingrRich dipped the stock market? I think
that's when I crashed in New York.
Yeah. All of these guys decided to get together today and just give you a tough time about crashing. I mean, I didn't even mention it. It has nothing to do with me, so I didn't. I don't have anything.
I blame Crump. I think it's Crump because Crump talks about it all the time.
Oh, he does? Okay. All right. Well,
yeah.
He's on vacation, so you can't blame him exactly.
He fired up the trolls.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a whole bunch of. Okay, listen. We're gonna go back to gun stuff. Let's go back to some gun stuff over here. Okay, cool gun things that you guys what's the last gun that you bought, like not 3D printed, last actual gun?
Ooh.
Yeah, actual gun that you bought. Let's see. Go ahead, Vin.
I have a Russian CM2 that I picked up.
Russian CM2. Okay, I'm gonna
It's a single shot Olympic rifle.
Oh, okay.
In 20, yeah.
Oh, so like competitive type of thing.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull this.
Is that like a biathlon gun? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think that's what they call it. It's one where you have to shoot.
That's where they ski and shoot?
Yeah, where they like put on the vest and they have the strap where they hold it, and there's a specific way they hold it.
Yeah,
I bought it because I've always wanted to be on my high school's rifle team, and that never happened. But I still know how to,
Is it like this?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But this is Russian, true Russian, so they're not coming in anymore. So it's an appreciating asset. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, very nice. Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that. My who is it? William Bethards has a lot of guns like that, and he actually, he works for the FBI Training Academy, and he was on Top Shot. But he, as a Marine, was like competed for the Marines in shooting and stuff like that. So he's got a bunch of guns like that. I remember him showing me his collection. It's pretty cool. All right, what about you, Rich? What's the last gun you bought?
Last 2 to 3 guns I bought were I bought 2 SIG P365s. My wife has an SAS. I have the regular one. And she wanted a Glock 43, and I tried talking her out of the Glock 43. And I came home with the 365 SAS and the Glock 43, and she's like, I opened the box on the SIG. She's like, I want that one. I'm like, So, but what I did recently do is I got a Mantis system, and the rail on the SIG P365 isn't cut all the way, so the Mantis system won't fit on it. So I custom designed and printed a base plate for the magazine that the Mantis system will connect to, so it works that way. So that's actually like the last print I did, I think.
Okay, very cool, very cool.
For people that own SIGs, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
For people that own SIGs that aren't aware, SIG rails on pistols they're not true Picatinny rails.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know if I was aware of that, so.
Yeah, it's not cut all the way, and there's no notch in it. Like like a Ruger SR45 or Ruger SR9, it's cut all the way and it has one notch. So you can slide the Mantis onto an SR45 or an SR9 or Canik TP9, those types of things. But the Mantis will not slide onto the SIG P365. And if I was a good member of the 3D printing community, I would have posted my modified base plate, and I haven't done it yet.
You haven't.
But I've given one away.
Shame on you. YNH says, last gun I bought was a CZ 999. What is it? 999. That's not a thing, is it? I'm guessing that's not an actual thing. Right?
Who is the guy with the 999 plan? He passed recently.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, he got COVID and passed. I cannot remember his name.
Oh, okay. I'm flipping through right now the firearms blog, see if there's any cool stuff there that we want to... me personally, I bought a Hudson 9. That was my last last purchase. Yeah.
How long ago you get that?
The Hudson H9, yeah. Huh?
You need to collect spare parts for it right now.
I know. I do actually need to do that.
When I bought my Hudson H9, I went online. I immediately bought 2 of each spare part I could, because I knew that they would be gone.
Yeah, well, you bought 2 because you knew that Hank Strange would need some. So
one.
Yeah, good job. Good on you. Good on you, Vin. Where did you get your parts from? KE Arms?
Online. I think one of them was the original OEM for Hudson, who didn't get paid, so going up surplus.
Yeah, KE Arms. I think I need to check back, because when Babyface got his H9, he got some stuff from KE Arms, but I don't know how much stuff they have left. I got to check with them, see what they do have left, and get.
Is KE Arms the one that bought out all of the parts?
No, they're the ones who were making the parts, and then Hudson didn't pay them for. So then they wound up selling what they had not already shipped to Hudson. Because a lot of stuff, I don't know if that, I don't know if those lawsuits or the bankruptcy or whatever has been settled out yet. I know a lot of people sent their guns back to be repaired, and they're just like, they're just screwed. But I heard, and I did hear that Daniel Defense was going to be coming out with a revised version of that gun, but I haven't really seen anything lately.
Daniel Defense or PSA?
No, Daniel Defense. Daniel Defense has the rights to that gun, yeah. So I don't know.
A survey I recall not too long ago, teasing 2 designs. They put out a survey of 2 pictures.
Who?
Like a Daniel Defense.
Oh, they
I
did.
saw.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're like there was a survey like would you want a polymer
Hmm.
H9 something like that, but
Yeah.
I gotta look that up again.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's going to be polymer. It's probably going to be a polymer one that they're putting out there. We should have seen it already, but to be honest, right, with everything going on, a lot of new guns have been backburnered just to meet demand out there. So
Well, is PSA? I see daggers in the wild, at least in my social media
yeah.
feed. Is PSA ramping up on the dagger again?
Yes, the daggers are out, and I don't know in what frequency they're making them, so exactly how many are being made. But they are out there, and they are selling them. So if people have the patience to get up on that website, they're going to see them. I think that at some
Okay.
point I'm supposed to get one. There's one that's been like passed around to different content creators, and like let's say this one guy's going to put 2,000 rounds on it. Someone's going to put 1,000, and it's one
Oh, okay.
particular gun. At some point, that's supposed to circle around to the hacienda, but I have no.
So not a normal T&E.
No, it's not a normal T&E where they send a brand new gun. They're just sending that thing out. That person puts 1,000 rounds through it, and then I guess it goes back and then goes out to the next person. So
So
as
can you
soon as
talk
that
about
happens, I'll let you guys know when I get my hands on it. What's up?
can you talk about T&Es that you have in the works?
I'm not sure what I do have in the works. Mr. Bullshitter says he has a dagger, ordered it today. So there you go.
Cool.
If you're keeping an eye on it, I think they're putting daggers up there every day. So
Do you have a Taurus GX4?
I think we have a 3. What's
Yeah,
the video
you put a video out on a 3.
on a 3, and then I have the TX22.
That's cool.
Yeah, the what is the
There's a marksman version with the pick rail on the barrel.
Yes. Yes.
You mean the
No, it's an
red dot?
optic rail. Optic rail. Yeah,
Yeah,
red dot.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have that. That's gonna be coming up some point. Who is it that we did the TX22? Who had the TX22? Was that you, Rich?
Taurus.
Oh, that's
No,
you.
Taurus is supposed to send me a T&E on the TX22 and the GX4.
Oh, okay. Well, there might be a shortage of it. But I know we did a video on a
Right.
TX22 before, but I cannot remember who that was. I have to go back and look at my own video and see who it was that had a TX22 out here that we shot one time. But now we've got that one, and we'll be doing a video on it. So, let's see. Someone wants to know Vin's IG. So let's see. We'll show that again here, and then we'll wrap it up. Let me see. Here's what happened to it? It went away. Oh my god.
How about we put it in the chat?
Yeah. Someone put it in the chat. So here we go. Here it is. I'll share it for everyone who wants to know. So Nguyen. Well, I'm saying it wrong. It's Nguyen, right?
Nguyen. Yeah,
Yeah.
NGUYENKVVN.
There you go. And it's right up on the screen right now. If you can pause the video if you're looking at it or whatever and zoom in, you should be able to find it. So there it goes. All right. So listen, let's
I
wrap it
dropped
up.
it in the chat.
Oh, you did? Okay, hold on. Let me put that up on the screen for anyone who wants to know. Awesome. Okay, so listen, what we're gonna do. We hit the 9 o'clock hour. Talked about 3D printing stuff and a whole bunch of other things. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we actually get Hilljack back here sometime in the future, and you guys can actually ask some questions, and maybe we can get some things going on with them. So let's see. Let's start with Vin. Oh, Ray Bazzola wants to know who has better legs, Vin or Walter. I haven't seen Vin's legs, so I can't speak on it. That's my honest opinion. I'll just leave it there for you. Vin, tell the folks out there how can they communicate with you? How can they follow you, support you, all that good stuff?
So I'm trying to do a better job answering my Twitter DMs and Instagram DMs. One thing a lot of people don't know is that if I haven't connected with you or if I haven't followed you, your messages end up in the message request folder. So I usually only see it at like the end of the week when I go through and scrub the list. Or sometimes I find a free moment during the day to scroll through and check. But you can send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter, same handle, NGUYENKVVN. I'll be more than happy to reply. If you somehow get your hands on my email, it'll end up in my queue, and I will most definitely reply. Very confused. But you can also find me on Patreon too, where I just have information and news. No 3D printed gun files, because that's not in their policy. But yeah, I also respond. You can find me in those 3 avenues.
Okay, very cool. Vinh, I hope that like coming on the show has somehow helped you. You know, we need to do some videos and stuff like that together, and hopefully that help. My whole point of doing this is to help people if I can. I know you already have your own following. I hope we're adding something to it.
I don't think it's as big as yours. What you should do, you should come to Georgia.
Right.
And come look at my my setup and guns.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I will. I'll come up there. Do you have space for me to park my van up there?
Yeah. I have a ridiculously long driveway, actually.
Awesome.
And abnormally long way.
Yeah, so we're going to make
Can I land there? Can I land a plane?
No.
No.
No planes, Rich. You're going to have to drive.
If you somehow... if you land at... If you can get clearance to land at McCollum Airport, yes, you can visit.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. Shout out to Elster's Rifles and Reloading out there. He says thanks for the stream, and then I see everyone. I'm trying to throw up everyone that's right now thanking us for doing it. 2A EDU is out there. 2A EDU, if you can hear me, can you please get back to Lola so we can get you scheduled on the show? We would appreciate that. Lola says she's waiting for you to reply. Check your junk mail or whatever it is. Make sure you don't have an email in the junk mail, because we would love to get 2A EDU here on the show. Okay, Rich, you hit us with, tell the folks out there how they can support you and help get your plane back into action here.
Well, buy my house in New York, then I'll have money for my airplane. So FlyingRich.com, as always, has links to all my social media, youtube.com/FlyingRich, and of course on the grams, it's FlyingRich_official, because somebody else is Flying Rich and they won't even friend me. Oh
yeah, they think that you're probably trolling them. All right, so listen.
Oh,
go ahead.
Troll?
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
So it's the real Flying Rich we're talking to right now. Just to make it clear.
Yeah, the real Flying Rich. Okay, so listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run in the end, and then I'm going to come back. Someone's going to give us the words of wisdom. Vinh, I think... Oh, Rich, you're giving it up to Vinh? Okay.
Rich
is... He's wise.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, you can go again this time. I guess Rich says you have more wisdom than he does. Oh, Lola is saying 2A EDU scheduled. Okay, yeah, well, see? That's why. Ooh. Like, what, I guess I missed the boat on that one. Okay, I look forward to
seeing... Do you guys talk?
I have not. I think Lola came in and out of here for like 10 seconds, but I haven't really had a chance to talk about that with her. No, that's just the last thing. Okay, I'm going to run in the end, and then we're going to be back, and Vinh is going to hit us with his words of wisdom here. Let me roll the end in. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. I think I did. It was a fun show. Always good having Vinh and Rich on. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, smash the thumbs up, share this if you can. And we're going to rip the audio out of this and throw it up on iTunes and all your favorite places to get your audio podcast. Don't forget to check out US Law Shield, yo. There's a link in the description. If you're listening, if you're watching, you could save some money if you do an annual membership, as well as you could send a couple of shekels in our direction. All right, Vinh, words of wisdom, sir.
All right. So you guys know how there is a military-industrial complex? The equivalent of it is the academic-publisher complex. Academia is a scam. That's my wisdom.
Okay, boom. There you go. Mic drop. Boom. Academia is a scam. Okay, there you go. All right, so listen, we are out of here. I think we're going to be back for Wednesday, and then we're going to take the rest of the week off. So we'll see you guys. Big thanks to Vinh, Nguyen, as well as Flying Rich for coming on the show here. Always good to see you guys. Great conversation. Thank you very much, guys. All right, we're out of here. Peace. Stay right there, Vinh. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, Rich. We're out. See ya. Peace.